Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem for OGN. Today, we're going to discuss the conflict between Kashmir and Palestine and their occupiers and the similarities that go along with it. First of all, there are two lands, but it's one struggle, the struggle for freedom. Now let's take a look here. It's ironic because the conflict between the two actually started within a year of each other. And in the Palestinian territories, the Great Nakba took place in 1948. In Kashmir, it took place in 1947. Who would have thought that more than 75 years later, the conflict would still be going on? Now, let's take a look at some of the similarities that are going on here. When you look at the Kashmiri territories, it's about 63 to 68% Muslim. Now, keep in mind that the occupying power is Hindu dominated. So that's a dynamic that you should keep in mind. 63 to 68% Muslim. However, in the Kashmir Valley, it's 96% Muslim. Now, let's take a look at the similarity here in Palestine. In the West Bank, it's 85% Muslim. In Gaza, it's 99% Muslim. But the way that the occupying power actually dominates over those being oppressed, it's pretty similar also. In Jammu and Kashmir, they have something called the Public Safety Act. What is the Public Safety Act? That gives the occupying power the right to detain detainees for up to 2 years without charge or trial. Now, I want you to try to understand this, that you can imprison somebody for 2 years and not charge him with anything. You could literally pick people up off of the street, put them in prison, and leave them there for 2 years. And when they come out, you can pick them up a day later and do the same thing all over again. But look at what's happening in the Palestinian territories. The Israelis have what they call administrative detention. They can, at the start of the detainee's incarceration, they appear before a judge and they could be given a 6-month detention for administrative purposes. But here's the catch. It can be renewed indefinitely. In other words, they come back to the judge in 6 months, renew it again, 6 months, renew it again. There are some people who've been in the prison system for 8 years, 8 years, and have not been charged with a crime. That's something that just can't be overlooked when you see the similarities between the two. In the Palestinian territories, and in the Kashmirian territories, the occupying power restricts the movement of the population. Here you can readily see that the IDF makes sure that the people trying to get just a few kilometers away have to go all the way around to be able to actually arrive at their destination. Same situation here in Kashmir. It's the same type of mentality to make things difficult for the people in the territories. Now we want to look at some of the demographics, and this is huge here. In the Palestinian territories, particularly in the West Bank, they bring settlers. Settlers come, steal Palestinian land, and they build on that land so that they can claim it as their own. Now, if we look in the Kashmirian territories, the Indian government has been trying very hard to bring in non-Muslims into the Kashmir territory to change the demographic. And that's part of what the conflict is about. This that took place with the killing of 26 Indian nationals. Now let's take a look at that. Here's the map here. This is the Kashmir region that you can see here. This is Pakistan. This is the Kashmir region. This is India. And of course, this here is China. Now let's zoom in just a little bit here. All right. This is Pakistan administered Kashmir, because Pakistan administers the northern part, but the southern part is where a lot of the issues are. And this is where the Indians are controlling the Kashmirian territories. We're talking about Jammu and Kashmir. Now, this is where the conflict took place. Let's zoom in right here. That's not too far from Srinagar, which is the capital in the area. Let's look at this right here. This is what's called the LOC, the line of control. It's the de facto border between Pakistan administered Kashmir and Indian administered Kashmir. So there have been clashes which have been taking place on this border, which began just yesterday, and they are ongoing. Now, these are two nuclear powered entities in Pakistan and in India. We're going to follow this up. The interesting thing is that the Pakistanis have denied any type of connection to the killing of those tourists, if indeed that's what they were, Indian nationals. However, the Indian government has made it very clear that they were Pakistani and that it was the Pakistani government which was behind it. We haven't seen any proof of that as of yet. We'll have to wait and see. I'm your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi